Hello, everybody. Welcome to Headlocks and Handoffs Edition, Episode 8, January 28th, 2021. We wanted to welcome everybody here tonight to our running aspect of the podcast. Chris is very excited on his end.
I am. I gotta say, you look like you're a newscaster looking down at your notes over there. Just like, we are on January 28th, and we are very excited that you are here. It is on the 8th episode, and then over here, we are, hold on, we are, here's, and today we have a very exciting announcement. It is,
Do you have index cards?
I do, just want to make sure I get everything right today.
I put everything down on this piece of paper that I folded. What are you doing?
These are my blank index cards.
What?
So,
They're shaped like little files.
They are. So I follow all the information that I know about you, and I only have a few cards.
Yeah, and
I know nothing about you.
There's nothing in there. Oh, look, little footballs.
All right, so down to business. We have our newscaster, very professional studio as always.
Yeah,
And
you see how I got my hair done today.
I'm getting my hair cut this weekend, so maybe So on Sunday, we'll see the nice haircut. Hey Anthony, what else is happening on Sunday?
I'm so glad you brought that up because I forgot until you reminded me. But to remind our viewers out there to also subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoy our podcast here. We are doing a live show on Sunday at 2 o'clock for the Royal Rumble for the Headlock subscribers.
Yeah.
And for the handoff ones that kind of want to, venture out of their comfort zone and maybe try something different. So we're going to do it live. We're probably going to end up doing it on Facebook Live and then uploading it later on YouTube prior to the Royal Rumble that day. So we're doing a live show. We're doing a trivia show, which will be a lot of fun. We'll have a couple of guests. It should be pretty cool. We'll have a pretty good setup, I hope.
We're hoping for it.
I'm hoping.
Listen, our fans, our subscribers, we have like these huge, humongous, great big ideas. And if it all comes together, it would be so cool.
And that's the problem. We always have great ideas. We have to then figure out how to make it happen.
Yes.
But like I said, we always figure it out.
We do. So this whole week we've been trying to figure this out, and that's why we're now probably doing it on Facebook Live instead, and it will be uploaded, not really live, but the Facebook part will be live that gets uploaded later, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. It makes sense to us because we're the only ones viewing this currently right now until I upload this on YouTube later.
That is true. So, hey, we have at least 2 views right now.
That's true.
You and me.
But again, subscribe,
yes,
like, comment, Headlocks and Handoffs, Episode 8. Here we go. Topics for tonight. We are going to go over a very special topic that's very dear to us or dear to anybody who's involved in running. And if you've done that sport, if you've run in high school, college, post-collegiate, you know who we're talking about. We're going to talk about Steve Prefontaine tonight. We're going to talk about his legacy. We're going to talk about the life of Prefontaine, what he did, why he was so special, and how he really set the tone for everybody in the long distance world of running to this day. And then stuff that we've done in a way of talking about and experiencing different things that he did in the places he did some of the special races that he performed in. And then we'll build from there. And we have a couple other cool topics that we'll get to, but we want to talk about Prefontaine first. Again, Steve Prefontaine, just a little bit of a background. Obviously, just Chris will piggyback on probably most of the stuff that I'll be talking about, obviously.
Before you start this, did we mention why specifically we're talking about him tonight or this week?
No, we did not. So we are talking about it because...
Wait, was this my line or your line? Wait, let me check the notes. It's not... Oh, well, you know what? I'm just going to go with it. Monday was his birthday. He would have been 70 years old. And Anthony and I, we were kind of kidding around. We're like, hey, you know that it was Pre's birthday? Because that's how everyone knew him, as Pre. Yep. And I was like, yeah, he would still probably have some American records if he was running now. Or I'm sorry, if he was alive now. Because I just feel he was such an amazing competitor, completely fierce, and just didn't want to be told no. And he just went out and just did it. He just had such a ballsy way of running. And there's 2 movies about him. And for runners or track and field, we don't really get any kind of love like that at all. And to have 2 movies about one person is just incredible.
Oh yeah,
And
and both of
so
them are great.
yes, I
But
was just about to say
but
both of them are.
what's even
Go ahead.
crazier about that is that the one word that comes to mind when I think about who Prefontaine was is charismatic. And I think you would
Hmm.
agree to that because I know we do both our running podcast and we share it with the wrestling podcast. But when we talk about wrestling, we talk about um, the personas of wrestlers being charismatic. Prefontaine was like that a lot in his running because, like you said, he went out there and his one goal was to win, and he did it at any cost and the hardest ways you can think of. And obviously, we'll
Hmm.
get into how he did all that stuff. But yeah, it was. So his birthday was this past. What was that? Monday.
Monday. Monday.
Monday. And
Hmm.
it's just cool to see that, like, and you can go on social media and everybody celebrates this guy, like, if you're a runner, like, of any sort, everyone celebrates him. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people know of him, even non-runners, but don't know who he actually is, you know.
He's really like a celebrity when he was around, when he was
Oh,
alive. And it's funny, like I know I've mentioned before, but I was in Oregon for a year doing some running, and I had a job at a gas station there just to make some money and just to even pass time basically. And the guys that were at the gas station were these two guys that would smoke cigarettes on like our 15-minute break. And they asked like, oh, like, what are you doing out here? And I said, oh, like I'm here to run and trying to like be as best as I can with it and go forward. And these guys, they're like, oh, there was a really good runner out here, Prefontaine. You know about him? And it's like I feel two completely random people don't know about running, but they know Prefontaine.
well,
And
if
it's
you
just
live in that area, how could
exactly.
you not? Like, but that's
No,
so
I
cool.
know. Because I'm like, it's two people I would never even think of it. It's not like you're at a sports convention or at a football game. It's like two just random people. I'm like, oh yeah, Prefontaine was here. Okay. His sister, actually I worked so after the gas station, I worked at Trader Joe's out there. His sister would come into the Trader Joe's, like every other month or so. And they would say, like, oh yeah, that's Prefontaine's sister. It's like, oh,
Hmm.
that's pretty cool. Okay. And I think she was maybe like half an hour away. She didn't live right in Eugene, but very
Right.
close to it. But
Yeah,
um
that's pretty cool though. Like, at least his legacy is still around. The aura of
yeah,
his life is still very alive in that area, and that's what
definitely.
makes it so cool. And and we'll get into all that, but I mean,
Definitely.
just a lot of cool side notes, just to like kind of tell you guys who he was and what he was capable of. At one
Uh,
point, he held American
sorry,
records from the 2K to the 5K.
I think it was more. Wasn't until to the 10K. He had two. He had the 2K
Yes, I'm
to
sorry.
the
I read
10K.
the wrong one.
That's right. So
Sorry.
just so we know, so it's the 2K, which is a
Right.
mile and a quarter. He did that in 5 or 5:01 to be exact. So it's basically you're running a 4-minute mile and then a 60-second lap after. Like it's just insane. Then he had the 3K, 2 miles, 3 miles, because back then they did more 3 miles than
Yep.
like our
Yep.
standard 5K.
Yep.
So from the 3 miles, he also had the 5K, the 6 mile because it was 3 miles and 6 miles instead of 5K, 10K, and then the 10K also. So the 6 miles and 10K, it was like en route. So as our coach used to say, on the way. Yeah. It's like,
On
oh,
the way.
he ran a record on the way to another record. So, yeah, just a little
Cool.
side note for you. But yeah, so he just had every record from there. And I mean, just all those alone, it was impressive. And he would crush his record by like 8, 10 seconds sometimes. It
Oh,
wasn't like, oh, he said it once, that was it. No, like he just kept going. And
and he
it
didn't
was
care.
crazy.
He didn't give it. He didn't care if he
Yeah.
broke his own record. It didn't matter because he just wanted to win.
Yeah.
So whatever he had to do, he just did it. But
Hmm.
even then, like, if you translate his times from when he ran to the times you run, now, to like a lot of the pros that are running now. I mean, a lot of the pros are running a lot faster than he is in some of the races. But at the time,
Oh,
back in
yeah.
the late '60s and the early '70s, these were worldwide times.
Yeah.
1,500 meters, he ran 3:38, which this today doesn't seem so fast, but 3:38 then was moving.
But
I mean,
that's back in that's in the early
yeah,
70s.
yeah.
So, you know,
No
so
one, no one did any of that. Only
so
international athletes and Prefontaine.
yeah.
You know.
And most importantly, and even they talk about this a lot in the movie, as a professional athlete, you weren't allowed to do a whole lot of things. It wasn't like, okay, you're a professional runner. Yeah, you can get paid whatever, you get prize money. No, you're living off food stamps.
Yep.
Like it's not this glorious place to train or place to go. They would, in the movie, they showed it, but they would say you can't race at certain races because he is not considered a professional athlete in his country. If he races against you, you kind of now he loses his status and then he can't make
Yep.
any money. So just like a
Oh, a
whole
lot
big thing.
different then. A lot
Yeah.
different then.
God
But
bless you. Did you sneeze?
yeah, I did.
Okay.
But just to continue, I'm just going to rattle off a couple of his best times.
Definitely. Go
So
for it.
outdoor mile, he ran 3:54.6. Again, very, very good. Again, American record at the time, and obviously now that American record's at least 12 seconds faster, which is just blows my mind entirely.
And quick side note, sorry. He was not a miler.
No, he
So,
thought he wanted because he thought he was a miler.
mhm.
That's what he wanted to be, but obviously that didn't. That he that now that you brought that up, do you realize that he only lost 3 times in college,
Yeah,
and it was
all in the mile.
all in the mile?
Yep. I
So
remember that.
yep. So
He was so I know you're gonna get to, was he 3-time NCAA champ, cross country champ?
3 time cross country, 3 time 5K, and 3 mile champion.
Hmm.
And I have a couple of things also from high school too, which I'll
Go ahead, yeah. Go
um.
for it. So
So
that
in
was the mile.
mile,
He was not a miler, but
yep,
still he's got the wheels.
yep.
The
Uh,
2K we spoke about.
3K was 7:42.6.
Hmm.
Full 2 mile was 8:18.29. 5K PR 13:21.87. 10K PR 27:43.6. And then he's still indoor wise. The 2 indoor races that I have here were his 3:58 mile indoors, and then
Hmm.
his 8:20 .4 2 mile indoors, which is just like
Yeah.
just to be close to your outdoor times and your indoor is very hard to
Oh,
do.
it's insane.
Very
Yeah.
hard to do. Breaking 4 minutes indoors is probably one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah. And just talk about that a little bit more. Whoever's watching, there was no armory track, there was no ocean breeze, there was no hydraulics. You were
There's
probably on like a
no
wood floor.
Mondo, yeah, no Mondo
Yeah.
tracks,
No.
yeah, none of that.
There was none of that stuff. The shoes back then were better. They had spikes, but it wasn't, like 2.8 ounces of shoe. No, he was probably running in, 15, 16 ounce shoes, more than that probably.
And some
You
of those
know.
shoes were like leather. They were like
Yeah.
leather based shoes. You're not
Yes.
getting all this technology you're getting now. You're getting like lightweight Zoom Fly or like
None of that.
super lightweight material that'll just like it's too much of an advantage today. Like people
Hmm.
running like him back in the day were just gutting it out, just pure,
Completely.
just like doing what he was doing.
Hmm.
Um, High school, which I was kind of reading up on some stuff, which
Yeah.
I thought was pretty cool because he had a pretty obviously. If he had such a substantial collegiate career, his high school was pretty impressive too.
Hmm.
Even starting out as a freshman, he ran 5:01 as a freshman. What'd you run as a freshman?
440. So
Wow.
I was
So,
better than
so
Prefontaine.
you're already better than him.
Yeah, I guess I just
I could We could say you were like the Prefontaine of high school freshmen.
and then that was it. I just was like, yeah, that was it.
And
Now,
then after that,
but
he
before
didn't.
you say, I feel like as a sophomore, I'm gonna say he went like super fast. Was it 413?
Something like that. It was more. It wasn't even just more the time. It's the way like he transitioned through high school. His times
Hmm.
obviously definitely like dropped like crazy. Like he was. I think it was 413. I want to say 413 or 414,
Okay.
whatever it was. But then again, he was. I think. But this is what I thought was pretty cool. When he was a sophomore, so obviously just getting into it and running 5:01, and then trying to obviously make it a little bit better. As a sophomore, he missed the state meet the following year.
Hmm.
I think it was the 2 mile. So,
Okay.
and that kind of was like the big driving force behind him getting to the next level at that point because there lies the summer training coach
Yep.
telling you if you do this, you're gonna go to a way new level than you would ever think you would be at, especially in high
Hmm.
school. You know, then because
Yeah.
junior year he went completely undefeated in everything. Like he didn't lose. Like it was just uncanny how that worked. and then his
Mm-hmm.
senior year he broke, I think, broke the national high school 2 mile record. I think he ran
Yeah.
8:41, which was
Yep.
7 seconds faster than the original. Which is 7 seconds faster in a 2 mile race is pretty quick.
Yeah. It's definitely you're hauling. You're moving.
But to be a freshman running 5 minutes and then having to run back to back 420 miles to break a
Yeah.
national record is that's just pure
It's pretty crazy.
talent and ability there. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, the training as well, obviously,
Oh
because
yeah.
you can only get so far with your talent and ability.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I
So
thought that
true.
was pretty cool. I do
Yeah.
want to give you a little bit of a trivia.
Okay.
Okay, I want to see if you know this.
So you're a little bitter about this previous week when I stumped you at the Rumble, but I didn't stump
Yeah, you didn't stump me. I pretty much just wiped the floor with the questions.
you. All right. Well, listen. To show I'm not even going to cheat, I'll keep my phone right here. So ask
Okay.
away.
Right. Okay. So anyway,
Mm-hmm.
this is what we're gonna do the whole time.
No. You could ask me the question. I want you to
Oh,
know I'm
okay.
not cheating.
Okay.
So
Well, all right. Okay. All right. All right. So Prefontaine has won gold before. We all know he did not do it at the Olympics because he didn't medal at the Olympics.
don't name a street after me. So if you haven't seen, that's one of the lines from Prefontaine where his girlfriend picks him up at the airport and she's like, "Oh, you were great, you were amazing," and he's like, "Yeah, they'll probably name a street after me," because that was like his attitude though. He wanted to win at all costs and not like, "Hey, you did great, you made it." No, I wanted to win.
Nope.
I wanted a gold medal. I wanted a world record, not fourth place. And it didn't matter if he ran so hard and made too many moves or whatever. Like, no, he didn't want excuses. And that's like what, for me, that's what I loved about him.
Yep.
He was so passionate about running. He didn't care what anyone else was saying or doing. Like, no, I need to win and I'm going to train like crazy and just win. That's it. So sorry, he won gold medal. Yeah,
Yes.
sorry. But go on. If you want to preach on that, you go.
No, we got plenty to preach on later on.
Okay.
So he did win one gold medal. Do you know where?
Are we not talking like college? Because I know we won all the national championships.
Well, it was in college. Remember, he did do international races.
Yeah. I feel like winning gold is kind of very broad.
Well, it's not really
Like,
international. I mean, obviously, he did run on a international circuit during some of the summer
yeah.
seasons, but this is more like, well, it's the Pan Am Games
Okay.
in '71 in California.
Got it. Okay.
He won gold in the 5K then.
All right.
So, I mean, unfortunately, that's the only gold that he has to his name.
So that's like that's the most notable gold.
Right. Obviously, he wanted more than that, but and would have probably made 4, maybe 5 Olympic teams if you think about it.
I feel someone like him, he would not know how to quit.
Right.
And like he's okay. So in Prefontaine, there's a scene when he's doing some like stupid jump off like a diving board, and does he break his foot? Does he just like he destroys it somehow?
Right. He has stitches in his foot. He smacks the ankle pretty hard or whatever it was. Yeah.
And but we're not ruining anything. It's like early on, it doesn't really show too much.
Not ruining anything. That movie's like 20 years old already. Over 20 years old already.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
If you haven't seen it, go and rent it. I don't think you could do that actually. Go and buy
rent it. Yeah, rent it. So
we'll lend it to you.
We'll include a link below, which 2 cents of that movie goes to our show. We'd appreciate that.
So only about one of you are probably going to watch it?
Yeah, it'll be me. I'll buy it.
Okay.
But anyhow, so he jumps off like a diving board or a big ledge, cracks his foot on like the side of the pool. So like Anthony said, it's bloody, there's stitches all over him, and his coach is still upset because he's the top guy in the country and he's doing something stupid. He still went out the next day. He raced, he won. He said, I think another American record or another collegiate record, winning the national finals in the 3 mile. At outdoor nationals. And they see him as like his whole foot is bloody, his whole white shoe is all red, and like that was him. He didn't know how to stop at all. He didn't want to.
And they asked him, it was like, well, you worried about so and so coming out for the trials to beat you? He's like, bring him on.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
That's and then just he never there was no negativity ever to creep into that head of his ever.
Mm-hmm.
The only negativity happened at the wrong time,
Yes.
in the wrong place, but at the same time, it helped. But any race that guy ran, he knew that he was the best one out there, and it didn't matter.
It's funny because I think it's in Prefontaine. He's doing so. As a little side note, Pre did a ton of charity work. I
Hmm.
remember, I don't know if you know, he went to a lot of the local prisons and set up like running programs for the inmates.
I remember
And
that. Yeah.
I think he would run like on the perimeter of the jail, on like outside the gate, just either, to kind of pace with them or to show them like, yeah, like I'm out here running too, you guys can too. So there was a scene also where he was doing some like child group thing, and they're all kind of jogging around doing the thing, and this one kid starts to take off, and he yanks the kid back, and the girlfriend later is like, Pre, what was that about? And he's like, you can't let the losing mentality get in your head. And she's like, the kid's 8 years old. What do you mean? And he's like, no, like you can't ever let someone beat you. That's not how this goes. And it's like such a like sadistic way of thinking, but at his level, like it's true. He worked his butt off all the time. He wouldn't lose to anyone.
Yep.
Like, he's not gonna let it happen. He would say, you're gonna have to make me, or you're gonna have to bleed to beat me.
Yep.
And it's
It's
like
gonna
that
be
was it.
an all-out guts race, and
Yep.
then that's how he made it.
Yeah.
Because the type of race he always ran was he was always a front runner,
Mm-hmm.
and no one else. I mean, we tell our kids now as coaches that you not to do something like that because it's
Yes.
it's something that's very difficult to do, and very
Extremely.
few can understand how to do it or do it in general. And
Mm-hmm.
he knew how to do it because that's the only way he knew how to win was to race from the front and try and destroy the field from the start
Which he
and then
did.
and all the time. Because if you're listen, I'm gonna beat you in every single way in this race from start to finish.
Yeah.
And if you're still there, then kudos to you. But most people didn't.
Yeah.
Most people didn't finish with him.
But it's so true. I would even think the same. Like if I'm gonna get beat in any race, I'm going out on my own side. Where I'm not going to have a sitting kick or like, oh, I'll let this guy do that and I'll catch up. Like, no, I'm doing my own strategy. So like you said, if I lose, it's okay. Well, I ran it the best way I could, and I didn't lose for some other stupid reason. So it's a lot of pride with that too. But it's what helps out. It's what works.
Right.
So so
Yeah.
Pre was definitely an amazing racer, runner. Personally, he did a whole lot for other people, not just his own. He, according to the movie, also he basically changed the whole way of like your amateur and professional status as a runner or as an athlete, where now like the track and field community, you can get paid to compete because of what he did, or at least what he started. So it's a lot is owed to him and what he's done.
Yep. Oh yeah. You thank him for a lot of the stuff that we have now and all the cool things that we get to witness now, and like him being part of the University of Oregon, and then us having the pleasure of being able to go out there and witnessing that event, even though it's years later, years after
Hmm.
his passing, years after he's run in the trials there, we got to go and go out to Oregon, which is not like it's not a Providence like trip kind of thing, but
I mean, Providence is like just it's a whole different
right,
book. It's not
right,
even the next chapter. Providence is like it's over here. Oregon was awesome. Providence is just like
yeah,
it's over
it's
here.
like its own entity. So I mean, but
Yeah,
that we'll save that for another time. Let's
different one, different
yeah,
podcast.
different podcast. So
Definitely,
like I said,
it's a
we
good story though. So we got to bring that up, but just not tonight. Tonight is all about Pre. I don't think
great.
Pre went to Providence.
It's an amazing story.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't
All right,
don't don't
don't
undermine it.
downplay it. All
Yeah,
right.
don't downplay it.
Okay.
So yeah, so we had the opportunity of going out to Oregon and going out to the Olympic trials and seeing the best in the country compete to try and make an Olympic team, and then just the weird atmosphere of being in that town. It was just like if you're a track nerd, you're here, and you get to be friends with all these other track nerds for the next couple of weeks.
What was super crazy about that? I'm not even gonna get into the transportation or where we stayed because that's like its own episode. Maybe we'll touch upon that.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that'll
But,
probably be what the Providence story episode probably.
okay.
Well, we'll
Maybe
say
we'll get there.
yeah.
But being in Eugene around all these people, we ran into people that we didn't even know were going because it's all like, oh, it's the whole Long Island crew. They're out here watching too because it's Oregon is relatively close and it's just such an amazing town with so much history. It's almost like, yeah, why would we not go there?
How many places did we walk into in Eugene where Prefontaine's picture was just up on the wall?
So many of them.
What was that?
There's
USA Pizza?
Yeah, there's Tracktown. Oh, no, it's
Tracktown
Tracktown
Pizza?
Pizza and then
Tracktown
Pegasus
Pizza?
Pizza.
Yep.
So I mean, there's the Oregon Duck is all around that whole place.
Yep.
Just like so many really cool things about that.
Yeah. But you were saying, like it was like you're saying, all this history. We got to go to Hayward Field
Yeah,
and be able to go and witness races that he raced in and that he ran on that same track, went to that school. We went to go to Priest Trail, which he used to train on, which I will say was slightly disappointing because I thought it was a little bit more of a trail.
I
Was it
would say
1,000 meters long, something like that, or 800?
about that. Yeah, I would say unfortunately it was extremely disappointing because I'm thinking, he did the story is he did all his miles, his morning runs on that trail or on those trails. And when I went out there in '07 to '08, I was thinking it'd be like miles of trails, like 30, 40 miles.
Yeah.
And like you said, I'm like, so wait, I just ran Priest Trail. That was half a mile.
We
Wait,
were
hold
running
on.
for 10 minutes. I ran it 4 times. What?
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, it's really, if you don't know it, you're not even sure what you're running on because
Right.
there's like a small map that shows it. And it's like, oh, Priest Trail is here, and then this is Autzen Stadium, that's the football stadium, and then another trail, and over there, and then, all right, so we just ran on it twice. Had no idea.
What I thought was one of the best times that we had when we were there was when we went for that run.
Those egg clears. Oh, the egg clears?
I was going to say the biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, that was the same place, but I guess not.
I don't remember having eclairs.
I got the sweet tooth, so that's all I remember. So, okay, because you brought that up, the biscuits and gravy, do you remember how much that was for breakfast?
I want to say like $3.
Yeah, it was probably $3 with coffee. I feel it
Right.
was like $1.95.
Everything was dirt cheap out there.
Yeah, yeah.
You could have brought out $100. You could have went out one night with, let's just say, we happen to have an envelope with like $60 in it. I'm just saying, if we just happen to have one and you're out for the night, you'll probably come home with $55 having a good time out there. But no joke, like everything was just so dirt cheap out there, and we definitely had an awesome time with, especially with that night
Yes.
that we won't talk about.
No, no. And even the hotels were super cheap, but that's because they were in some dingy areas.
Yep,
So.
yep. That's a good word, dingy.
Yes.
I would have used shady, but dingy definitely works. Dingy is like the G-rated way of saying shady. Shady's more like PG.
Okay.
Outside.
All right, I got you. Yeah, little dingy.
But remember our run? We're gonna go find Prees Rock. And for those who don't know what Prees Rock is more of a memorial place because that's where supposedly where Pre died when he got into his car accident and died on the scene. So people come from around the world, around the country to this rock, and they put different things onto the rock: pictures, shoes, shirts, jerseys. I think I put an armband there that had my dad's initials. Cool stuff there. People lit candles there. It was like just a shrine of Prefontaine and remembering who he was. Not that you couldn't remember because he was pretty much everywhere in that town. You couldn't escape what it was. But do you remember how long it took us to find that rock?
Yes. So it's so bizarre because finding it, looking back, it is relatively easy. But if you miss like that first quick turn, you're screwed.
Oh yeah.
Because we're out there for like an hour, I feel. And I'm like, guys, because I was there before, I'm like, it's right off the main road.
We trusted you.
I know. But hey, listen, everything that used to be there 4 years ago wasn't. You remember those car rides?
Oh yeah.
I was like, yeah, it used to be this over here. And the guy's like, hasn't been here in 4 years. Oh, geez. When I was here. So, all right, guess not.
And that guy ended up, our taxi driver ended up being a ghost. It was so weird.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Yeah,
I know. Nuts.
Yeah, that's for another time.
But Pre's Rock, there's it's almost like carved out of the stone. It's a picture of Pre running, breaking through the finish line. And he had a very exhausted look when he'd finish, where his arms were back and he'd be like just kind of hanging over almost like the finish line tape. It had his date on there. I think it was 5/30/75. That was
Yep.
the anniversary date
Hmm.
or his death date, I guess.
Yep.
And then like Anthony said, there was so many different medals. There were shoes, bib numbers. I even at Olympic trials, we saw like Olympic trial numbers from that race, from that week. So it's not like, oh, it's all old stuff. No, like there's world class or top in America, the elites going over there dropping off bib numbers, and some
Hmm.
even had the name on it. So you could say, like, oh, it says, whoever it is, it says this name. Oh, this guy was just here. Crazy.
It's like the godfather of running.
Yes, I agree. You pay your respects.
You do.
Hmm.
And then, do you remember the outcome after we finally found the rock? And we had a picture of it. You remember it?
Yeah, it's because I think we were all wearing our high school jerseys for that one, or in
We
tank tops or
were,
something. Yeah,
yeah, something like that. But do you remember what I accidentally did when we finished that run?
you fell on the because we went back to that park, Hendricks Park, which is
Yep.
right there, and I think you went to step on like a tree and just completely ate it.
Oh yeah, I slipped, and I'm pretty sure my back just slammed onto the log, and I just laid
Yep.
there and contemplated what
Yeah.
happened, and then we found the rock, and everything was okay.
Yeah. It's like, okay, this is good. This is
Okay,
good.
good.
Okay.
My
Yeah,
back's probably broken, but at least I found Freeze Rock an hour
we're
and a half
good.
later.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
all that
by the way,
matters.
guys, it's right there. But we
It really
started here.
was. Yeah. Where like we legit, you could pretty much see it from the street, or at least like the block right from the street, but we just missed that first stop and that was it. So yeah.
But either way, it was didn't make. We could have ran for 2 hours. It wouldn't have mattered. It was still pretty
Mm,
cool, no matter what.
yeah, it was all worth it just being able to see it at the end.
Yeah. So I mean, if anybody ever gets the opportunity to go out to the trials, now that Hayward Field looks going to look a lot different now than it did when we went.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
completely.
at least we were happy that we were able to see at its historical look.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm sure it's like looks like an international stadium. I think they're holding worlds there in a couple of years.
I wouldn't be surprised. They were holding college nationals for a couple of years in a row,
Yep.
and it's tough because like I get it. Like it's an amazing place for okay. So when I was out there, they had a UCLA versus Oregon dual meet, and there were fans there. Like not even like, oh, it's like its parents or family, like it was just fans, and they're like, oh, this guy from UCLA is really good, and this, and like they were posting some impressive times for a dual meet, and it was, I think it was the first day of actual like spring, and it was hailing as the meet was going. It was bizarre. So okay, getting snow out in Oregon, the whole town stops because they don't have plows. They're
Right.
not used to the snow at all, so like nothing happens, and like it's so crazy to see it all. But Oregon overall, just such a huge running community. Everyone knows about running, of all the history and just even the future. Like they've always had good teams, good programs, a few complete star athletes, and because of their like world class facility, they bring in a lot of people for different races.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. It's a whole different breed of running and an event in general. And
mhm,
and then the other cool part is that they have it, the Prefontaine Classic every year, which is
yes,
another humongous meet. A lot of big runners there, a lot of fast times. It's definitely a really cool thing to watch. And I still remember, and I'm sure you do, anybody our age when we were running
yeah,
would
I know
turn
where
on
this is going.
the TV that June and watch a young high school
Senior,
aspiring pro run and try and break 4 minutes and break the high school record, but not even just break it, just
yeah,
smash the record. Not even just break 4 minutes more, not just break 4 minutes, but also just like running with all these top guys in the world. And you have this high school kid who's buried in the back a little bit, but ended up finishing like right behind a guy like Bernard Lagat, who is young then,
yeah,
I think.
just crazy.
you know,
I think he was born at 40 years old. Just saying.
See, that's it.
Um,
But you
I
remember he
want,
was running. He finished right. It was probably only like I want to say 2 seconds or maybe like a couple steps behind Bernard Lagat. It wasn't very far.
okay.
You're looking that up
I,
now, aren't you?
of course I am. Yeah, you could see it. I think Webb went 3:53.4 or something like that.
I want to say this. Yes, I want to say that. I think it
It was
was.
something
I think the high school record was 56 or 57.
55,
55.
355. Yeah.
Okay.
So you are correct. So Legat was 53, 53.14, and Webb was 53.43. So yeah, he was right behind him. I remember El Garouge won it. He went under 350, like just under 350,
Yeah.
and Webb was fifth. I was thinking Webb was seventh, but he was right up there. I remember also with that, he like Anthony, you said Webb was in the back, so they probably went, where Webb was, they probably went to like 159, 2 minutes at the half, maybe like 259 at the 1200, and then I remember he just picked it up like crazy. So
Oh,
he
that was
might have
it.
been second to last, like third to last, and then just started taking off. And it was crazy because you're watching the winner, El Garouge running sub 350, but then it's like, hey, how far back is Webb? How close is he? Did he break it? Well, okay. Did he break for it? Yes. Did he break the high school record? We don't know yet. We're waiting for the official. I think he did. It looked like he did. And I remember they both took a victory lap together.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
was like, that's pretty dope.
It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So cool. And it was even. I'm going to ask you another little bit of trivia here. Do
Yep.
you remember who Bernard Lagat was sponsored by at that time?
Guessing it wasn't Nike.
I can't tell you. You have to. You have to not.
Oh yeah. It was Headlocks and Handoffs, right?
Yeah. It was a young Headlocks and Handoffs.
Yes. I'm gonna guess Fila.
Puma.
That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was.
So
You guys heard that?
you're obviously correct then.
Yeah, I mean, come on, that's of course.
By the way, we're like 31 minutes in or 30 minutes in.
Oh Jesus! All right.
It's crazy.
Well, Prefontaine, we could talk a lot about. It's
Yep.
it's the Prefontaine, it's the Oregon, it's all that.
Oh yeah.
So with both those, when I went out there in 07, 08, I was looking at a few other places to go and train and once again to try to like really make it big time with running. And for me, going to Oregon was always like this kind of like this pipe dream, like just to go and just be surrounded by like the spirit of Prefontaine.
Right.
And that was a big part of why I went there.
It's the Mecca. So
Yeah, it really is.
You wanted to get where you wanted to get in running.
Yeah.
That's where you went.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to go there. And it's so awesome that you got to go there. I'm always jealous to hear those stories because it's like very few people get the opportunity to go out there and train with clubs from that area. And
Mm-hmm.
and you were able and is fortunate enough to take your talents to Eugene, Oregon.
That's right. I came back the next year, so.
But you still went there and you gave it a shot.
Yeah.
So that's obviously no one else can really say that. So I mean that's always cool.
Well, thank you for that, Ant. It was definitely challenging out there because from Long Island I was one of the best, and then going out there, it's the big fish little pond syndrome. Where out here, yeah, I'm like one of the top guys. Going out there were guys. Their 10K pace was faster than my 5K. And it's like, so I couldn't even pace you halfway through your 10K race. No. It's like, wow, okay. Like that's where it was at. Like these guys are running in 29 minutes. I would have to have like my best absolute race to try to help you out. Like all right.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean,
so many guys.
These guys started the same way, and it's just it's just what you can get out of it and what works for you, what doesn't. Some stuff will work for some people, some won't.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you got to find that out because you could have stayed here and been like, well, maybe I could have done it, or question yourself and regret doing it, but you took the chance and did it.
And that was another big reason why. Like I was thinking, hey, like I can leave, I can stay here, but in 5 years down the road or 2 years, am I gonna regret it? I'm like, yeah, I will. I was like, all right, I got to go then. I got to try this out.
I felt the same way when I switched to smooth peanut butter to crunchy peanut butter.
Really?
Do I do this or am I going to regret it? So, I took the shot. I took the leap of faith. Is that not comparable?
No, not at all. Not even the same comparison. That's like, listen.
That's all I got. That's all I have.
That's like you trying to compare Providence to like North Carolina National. It's like we're on like two different textbooks here. Not even the same way. It's two different textbooks. You can't put them in the same part. Boom.
How many
No,
running trips have we been on?
a lot. We have multiple national trips.
Right.
Plenty of Boston. All those Mary Cups. Oh, geez.
I only went to one Mayor Cup.
Okay, well, I've been to a few then.
I was only invited to one Mayor Cup,
Okay. Uh,
which didn't end well. Among
yeah,
all the other ones that we went to together,
that didn't end well.
except for Providence. That's all.
Oh, Province.
That
Yeah,
one worked
Province.
out for me like beautifully.
Yes, it did. Yeah,
Oh my god,
that was a good.
better than anyone can imagine.
Yeah, no, that's
Oh,
true.
didn't even break a sweat.
I know. It's crazy. Crazy. Oh man. Um
Oh yeah, my favorite band, Ready in 10. Assassin. You don't know him? Get his album.
check him out. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Providence.
That was so awesome. Yes.
Anyway,
Providence, how I love thee.
yes.
So I'm actually thinking, what do we got for time?
About 34 minutes.
34? Okay.
Because I started
Um,
my watch late. I'm pretty sure we were about 3 minutes in.
okay. So I'm thinking we could talk more about some Prefontaine stuff, but save our original agenda for a different podcast.
Don't we always?
Yeah, basically.
But except we're saving ourselves that 20-minute window of us just going off and then coming back on him going, well, we've been on for about an hour and 20 minutes now.
Yeah.
We still have 3 more things to cover.
We didn't even get to the first one on the list, so
Listen, everybody,
okay.
we have our training wheels on when it comes to podcasts. We still have no clue how to work time here. No idea.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we do have a whole list of things we want to talk about. You can see it's right here.
Yep.
So
Yeah, no, absolutely. I have my list right here. It's got just random times on it, but
yeah, those are like splits of a workout, but
yeah, but they're not my workout.
they're not my workout either. But I think a lot of it though, like we do get very much into it, and it just kind of goes to all different topics. So
But we could talk about any
people
topic
good.
because we can.
Yeah.
It's the best part about being a coach and then being an athlete as well, and doing both and seeing it from both ends. So,
Hmm.
yeah, that's something we will definitely touch on. But
Definitely.
in
That's on
terms
there.
of this show, and then saving our material for later,
Yes.
because what we're gonna do, we're gonna get to the handoff portion of this at like episode 36, and we'll be like, well, everybody, we have nothing left to talk about except Providence.
Providence. Oh my God! They didn't do it yet. Oh my God!
Oh my God, I've been waiting for this moment, and then the podcast just bursts into flames.
Yes, and that's when we go viral.
How do we even come back from that? You can't.
No, we can't. That would have to be our last episode, I think.
Right. Last episode ever, we're probably gonna have to tell that story
And we'll just drive off in the sunset.
on our semi-successful sort of podcast that's broadcast to about 15 people.
Yeah, maybe we'll be at 20 by then, but yeah,
Hopefully. I mean, sky's the limit, right?
definitely. We have a nice studio now, so
Well, that's true.
anything can help.
And we're
Yeah.
gonna be live in that studio on Sunday,
Yeah, we definitely are.
live at 2 o'clock,
2 p.m.
Facebook Live.
Sunday, Facebook Live, and back on YouTube after. But
Absolutely.
you know,
But we'll
yeah.
cover that. That's
Oh,
something
yeah.
we're very excited about. And we're only a few days away.
I know we
few
are.
days away.
So right now it's Thursday for us, but by the time this uploads, what are you thinking? Tomorrow or even tonight?
I'm probably gonna upload this tonight.
Okay. Oh, even better. All right, that's cool.
Or should I wait till tomorrow? So people have a Friday to watch and then go into the weekend.
You got to feel it out.
Yeah, maybe. I did announce what date it was, so it'd be kind of weird if I just did it tomorrow.
All right, you're true. Okay.
Or maybe I should just stop taking the dates altogether.
Yeah, these.
Hey, it's about that month at that day of that year, so
Hey, we're on now.
Yeah.
That's really it.
You're watching Headlocks and Handoffs, brought to you by
Headlocks and handoffs. But so as we were talking, I actually went to do a little searching because I know like there's a handful.
On the Google.
Yeah, you have the Google too?
Hold on, I think I just downloaded the Google. Hold on.
Really?
Yep, there it is. There it is. Yep.
Well, according to the Google, it says that this is the original Google. Okay,
Wait,
so
what are you on right now besides the Google?
I'm on the Google, and that's really it. But I did the Google because I know there's a handful of very famous Prefontaine quotes. Because
Yes,
to bring it back to there,
always
one of
always a great thing to have.
yes, his quotes were. I just feel like it would speak volumes to so many different people and so many different things. I would say one of his most famous ones, because we didn't say it before, to give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift.
And I have that poster,
Yes,
and that's a picture of him winning the race, and that's something I'm pretty
that's
sure is one of the most popular quote that he has, which most schools will put on a shirt. Or
yeah,
I think the last sweatshirt that we had at my school, we put that quote on the back, and no one knew what it meant until I explained
really.
it why. No one knew what it meant. What's rough about nowadays is that a lot of kids probably don't know who he is.
Well,
But
that's our fault.
right, that's true.
But being
But
serious,
but we always
yeah,
encourage everybody to learn their event. If you're a long
yes,
distance runner, you should learn who these famous current or maybe even past athletes
hmm
were, so you can kind of learn from that. Sprinters, same thing. Sprinters have, you look at Usain Bolt. You know,
who's that?
Usain Bolt. You say Usain.
Oh, okay. Oh, Usain Bolt. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
right.
got it. Okay.
Fast guy.
Oh, Hulk Hogan.
Kind of. He's like the Hulk Hogan of track and
Like,
field.
oh, okay,
Well,
kind of. I
he
mean,
only runs for a few seconds because that's as fast as he goes.
he's got bad hips, brother.
Well,
All right.
probably.
So, yes, I think it is funny though because I know we've mentioned it before, and I think we would used to tell our own teams that we coach, "Hey, know who has the American record or world record in your event." And obviously, someone's like, "Okay, well, I kind of do a few events. All right, we'll just have an idea. What's like a really good performance in your event? What's really good in the triple jump? Well, the county champ does 42 feet. Okay, what's world class? Oh wow, they jumped 82 feet, whatever it is. I'm making it
Yeah.
up because I think it's 81 and a half. But watch a video of them. See what they look like. See what they do for
And
training. What are
some
the
will.
drills they do? Yeah.
But that's what makes them better athletes. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to be a good athlete to know this stuff. But if you are a good one, it does help you a little bit.
Definitely does.
When I had my good high jumper, I was like, you should know who the best high school high jumper is, or even the best professional high jumper is, because I want you to see what they do.
Yeah.
See how similar as to what they're doing to prepare, and then what you do.
Mm-hmm.
What we do is very minuscule compared to what they do,
Yes.
and where
Agreed.
they and how they do it. And she learned who it was. She learned different things. She watched her live, which was pretty cool, and it just blew her mind, and she just made her work harder. It's like, well, if she could do it, then I could do it.
Definitely.
And that's what's so cool. But even kids that are maybe not as fast, you know, maybe not nearly as talented, who still know who these people are, just helps them fuel their training just to be the
Mm-hmm.
best they can be. You know, you could be the last guy on the cross country team. It doesn't matter. He's just working hard, but he knows that these guys and how good these guys were and how hard they trained to be good. I just think I mean, I'm sure your high school coach did it. My high
Yeah.
school coach definitely introduced us to, know who Prefontaine was, and to know who, like, watch the movies on bus rides, and, just to kind of set the tone a little bit. And that definitely got me interested in the sport a lot more when I watched it.
Definitely. Now we didn't have videos on our bus because we're from Valley Stream. I guess in your rich neighborhood and district, you had movies and VCRs on your bus. So
Yeah,
just
no big deal or anything. I also had a CD Walkman.
what was that? A CD Walkman?
Yeah, you never had your CD Walkmans?
Dude, as a senior, I had morning runs with like the athletic Walkman where you had like the rubber hand strap like
Yep.
this. So because as a coach, we're like, don't run with your iPhone because here's how your hand will be. You're trying to keep it still and your right hand doesn't move and you run like crap now. But this one, it attached on. So when I actually put my arms back,
I remember that.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Well, let me ask you a question because we're over 40 minutes.
Okay, we should end.
All
And
right.
guys, we'll see you on Sunday Live. Bye.
All right. Bye. So let me ask you a question to kind of finish out the episode tonight.
Okay.
What was the one song that you used to listen to that used to pump you up?
Easy question. It was Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. So it is kind of funny, but I wrestled in high school. So Valley Stream South, it was 7th through 12th grade. So I
Right.
wrestled 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th grade. And then as a junior, I started winter track. So for those few years on like varsity wrestling, we actually came out to Welcome to the Jungle. So wrestling at Valley Stream South was really, really cool because we had this huge light above the wrestling mat, like a huge spotlight. No other lights were on in the whole gymnasium. And like people would like other teams would be like, oh yeah, you're welcome to the jungle. It gets crazy in there. And like the wrestling matches were like the thing to go to where it'd be a packed place. And of course it's loud in there and like it was just such an amazing environment. So that song was just always known like this is the song. Like you're gonna do some work, this is the song that you listen to.
Yeah.
And even now to this day, like it still gets me going. Because it's just
That's
such
really
like
cool.
so amazing, yeah. I was thinking of having that for my own theme music when I wrestle, but I was like, you know what? No, I'm not. No, I can't yet. You're like, I'm gonna get like too amped going to the ring. Like I need a little something different. But
I'm so ready to go right now. What do
yeah,
I do with all this energy?
yeah, basically.
So I have two,
Okay,
but they're two completely different types of music. And one was for track and one was for cross country.
really?
Yeah. So this is
That's
how,
crazy.
and the cross country one I definitely have still listened to like you do to this day,
Hmm.
and it still brings back memories of just warming up and getting your mind focused on the race, what you need to do. I would think back to races I ran, like I very vivid memories of specific races and who was in the race and what I did in there. That's why I love the song so much because it just brings that back. So it was the
Hmm.
training montage from
Yes, that's a
Rocky
good
Four.
montage. Yeah, oh yeah,
And
yeah.
it was I used to listen to it over and over and over and over and over again. And to this day, it's one of those songs, like you said, like you can
Just
listen
brings
to
it
it.
back.
It's incredible. So go
So
ahead.
that was cross country.
That was cross country.
Okay.
So
Oh,
for
wait. Can I guess this? Is this like Barbie Girl or something?
definitely not Barbie Girl, but it
I
definitely is
want
along the same realm of something like that.
I
So
want it that way.
yep.
Yeah, I knew it.
So my teammate and I we would sit in the back of the bus on the way to the armory for one of those long armory days or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And we would be back there. And back then we didn't have, we didn't have those Apple uh, AirPods or any of that stuff with you had wires.
Say again.
I'm sorry, you're allergic to my story. Are you all right?
I am. Don't say the armory. I feel like I'm getting a sneeze coming up.
Coach, it smells in here. We know.
Yeah, don't worry.
We know.
That,
Get used to
that's
it.
that's because the guy's still laying down on the bed over there.
Oh,
Wait, hold on, Coach. Why is that scary? What's that scary guy doing over? He's the clerk. You're good. You're good. Don't
yeah,
worry.
don't worry about it. Everything's so intimidating. But so we'd be driving into the city and we'd be in the back of the bus and we had to share like headsets like this, obviously minus the mic because that's all you had back then.
Yeah.
So my buddy's like, "Yo, we should listen to this song. This will relax you before your races." I'm like, "All right." So I go over and I'm listening. I'm like, "Is that the Backstreet Boys? Yeah. Is that a problem?" Like, no.
Did we just become best friends?
So we would listen to "I Want It That Way" to calm the nerves before the races,
That's crazy.
and we would listen to it every time we would drive into the armory.
So I remember listening to because around Christmas time especially for winter track,
Yeah.
the Mariah Carey Christmas song.
Oh no.
But here's the funny part. I feel like back then in like 99 or 2000, it was only like 5 years old by then. So it's kind of like, oh, this is like a kind of new song and like it's good. So I remember that for winter. I remember spring track. One of the guys always had like a boombox because the same way, like, we didn't really have Discmans or Walkmans. It was one person had
Right,
a
right.
boombox, and he would always listen to like some classic rock stuff, and we would listen to Biz Marquee, "Just a Friend." You know that song?
Of course I know.
Yeah, I'm just making sure.
Come on.
Sorry, I want it that way. Yeah, so that was always like such a cool song.
Oh, those guilty pleasures, but they worked.
Yeah,
Cross country, I was focused. I ran well most of the time doing that, and then going to the track meets in the city, it was just like being shoved into one little place where there was just loud guns going off and people running hard on the track, people screaming. I know it sounds like a murderous type of
yeah.
situation.
I was like, guns going off. What?
Well, it's a track meet. What do you expect?
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I was like, I thought we were talking running, but oh yeah, okay, yeah.
But I always thought that was pretty cool. But that's why I kind of wanted to finish off on something kind of weird.
Our whole podcast is where let's be
Yeah, true.
serious.
I mean, might as well. But
Yes,
again, we're now. How you want to guess how long we've been in now?
47 minutes and 22 seconds.
Oh, close, 50.
Yeah, so that's perfect.
Wow. Remember
So
10 minutes ago when we said we should wrap this up?
yeah, we should have.
We are never going to get this right.
Well, on Sunday, 2 p.m., it's going to be live somewhere on Facebook, and then we'll put it up on YouTube, but it will be live in some sort at a certain time.
Yep. Listen,
So
everybody, we're trying to do this the absolute cheapest way we can because we're in a
yeah,
very small budget. And by small, I mean,
zero, no budget.
yeah.
So
So we will make it happen. We need you to subscribe. We need to tell your friends, tell your family, tell your pets,
tell your enemies.
tell your strangers that you just, you walk by,
Yeah,
tell everybody, subscribe, like, comment, enjoy us. We're here twice a week. This week we're going to be here 3, which will still be a lot of fun. We'll have our
definitely.
guests,
Yes,
and hopefully we will, and then we'll enjoy the Royal Rumble on Sunday.
can't wait for that.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, this has been another great episode. Episode 8. 8 was great. We're done for tonight. We will see you guys on Sunday.
Yes.
Good night, good morning, and good afternoon. Listen, there's all different time zones of people watching us, so let's be serious.
How about just good night?
How about I'll see you later? Hey,
How about this isn't goodbye? It's see you
I'll
later.
see you later.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.